What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today I'm talking about the first steps of buying a house. Hello friends, if you are a returning subscriber, you know that this is normally a makeup and lifestyle channel, and if you are completely new and this is the first video of mine you're seeing, hello, welcome. Typically this is a makeup and lifestyle channel, but I am having some major life changes. Joe and I are in the process of buying our very first home, and I recognize the immense privilege that we have to even be in a position to buy a home. But the process is extremely overwhelming, especially if you're a first-time home owner, which we will be. I just thought it would be cool to have some videos up here to share my experience, what worked, what didn't work, and if there's any other topics you would like to see me talk about in the home buying process, let me know in the comments, and I'd love to make a video about it. I do have house tour videos coming. We viewed over 60 houses, so I'm gonna probably have 3 or 4 house tour videos of just different houses that we looked at. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe. I also plan on doing home decor videos once we move into our space. So that's kind of the plan of where we are in this brief blip of time. But I thought a good first step would be just explaining the process of finding a realtor, getting pre-approved, and looking at houses. So I do have 2 different experiences because we started this process a little over a year ago. So I'm going to talk about some red flags that we ran into. But again, everyone's experience is different and you may prefer a different process. That's totally fine. And if you have any other tips and tricks, leave them down in the comments below for others to see. And right before I jump into it, the last thing I'm going to say is that there will be a playlist for this series linked down below, and you'll also see a Koji link, and that will show you where else you can connect with me on social media. So be sure to check it out. Subscribe if you're into all of this, and let's get into it. So I'm gonna cut straight to it, and then I'm gonna go into the backstory. For me, the first step is to find a realtor, and a realtor should connect you with a lender to work on getting you pre-approved, and then you can start looking at houses. That is like the first steps that I recommend. That's not necessarily what our journey was, so I'm gonna walk you through that. So hopefully you don't go through the same thing I do, or if you do, you're able to recognize some red flags and know that it's not you. So Joe and I first started this process at the start of 2021. We were like, okay, we feel like we're getting to that point where we're ready. Like, let's see what we can get pre-approved for. Let's see like what is out there. You know, we've been reading doom and gloom for the last 2 years about how the market is just going to keep going, which of course amazing for sellers, but not so amazing for buyers, especially first-time buyers. So we're like, we need to get on this now before we're not even able to afford a house. So let's jump on it. We had gotten a couple of different suggestions of finding a realtor and reaching out to a realtor first. We were also suggested to reach out to a lender first. We had someone send us, I believe it was an underwriter contact, and we reached out to them, and they told us to contact a lender first and find a realtor later. So that is what we did. So this underwriter put us in contact with a lender, and we had a really bad experience with this lender, and I just want to speak about it. So if you're going through the same thing or go through a similar thing, just know that it's not you. So we went through this lender, and he just seemed to have a little bit of an attitude right away. Basically, when we contacted him, he said, if you're not putting an offer in on a house, why are you contacting me? That should have been our first clue to just not talk to him anymore. Because from my point of view, you need to know what you're pre-approved for. So when you're looking for houses, you look for houses in your price range, and you're not looking at houses outside of your price range. So to me, it makes sense to get pre-approved so you know what to look for versus going in knowing nothing and putting an offer in on something that you can't even afford, or that's not even in your budget. It doesn't make sense to put an offer on a house when you don't know what you're pre-approved for. So I don't know what that was about, but he seemed to have an attitude off the bat. His system was just very confusing, long and drawn out. We spent a couple of days sending everything over to him. His website just like wasn't working really well, but it was weird because the company that he worked for had really good reviews. So it was just very confusing to us. So he also took up over a week to get back to us, which is a really long time, especially in the market that we're in right now. He approved us for such a low amount, we wouldn't be able to qualify for a condo, a townhome, even mobile homes here in Arizona they're really actually expensive too. And we were approved for amounts so low. I was like, how is anyone supposed to buy anything with this? Like, we were just very confused. We have really great credit. We don't have debt. We're also very blessed to have our cars paid off. So we were just very confused where he pulled this number from, and he also told us, good luck, no bank will want to work with you, and really wouldn't give us an explanation as to why or how he came up with this number. So we were very disheartened and very discouraged. Like, are we just going to be stuck renting for the rest of our lives? And not that there's anything wrong with renting, it's just that rent right now is more expensive than a mortgage. That's why I'm laughing. That's why I'm like, we can't afford to rent our whole lives, because rent is a lot more expensive than a mortgage, and it's not supposed to be that way. Renting is supposed to be cheaper than a mortgage, more affordable than a mortgage. So it's just, we're in a really weird spot right now with how the housing and renting market is going. So without diving too much into that, we were just very nervous and very worried. And then a couple months later, we were like, we need to wait a little bit, because when they do that, they run your credit, and your credit takes a hit every time it's run. So we're like, okay, let's hold off on getting a second opinion. So about at the end of spring, beginning of summer, my husband was getting recommendations from realtors, from coworkers that had just purchased homes, and these realtors worked for a large corporation here in Arizona. I think that they might be nationwide. And personally, I don't like working with larger corporations or companies. I like working with someone that has just started a business themselves, or is in a little smaller of a space where it's not like hundreds and thousands of realtors under an umbrella and you have several dozens employees in one building. And it just kind of seems like a cattle herd where they try to push you in the door and get you out just as fast so they can get more customers and clients, which whatever, get your coin, that's fine. It's not the experience I wanted or that my husband wanted. So we decided to try to give these realtors a shot anyways, because we have questions like, where do we start? What do we do? What is this process going to look like? And we had realtors not answer us, not get back to us, which is fine. Like, obviously they have more clients than what they can handle. We had other realtors. One realtor called us and said, well, how much do you have? And that was her first question, was, well, how much money do you have? So I know that this is worth my time. Like, literally, that is what she said. And I don't know about you, but that was very off-putting to me. I would never want to work with somebody like that. She didn't care to answer our questions. She said, you need to tell me before I answer your questions how much you got and how much you're going to spend. So, needless to say, we kind of dropped off communication with her. There was another realtor that just said, well, what's your email address? I don't have time to answer your questions, but I'll send you an MLS, and if you see a house you like, I'll see if I have time to show it to you. So again, another red flag in my book. Didn't want to go with them. I wanted somebody that would actually care to listen to us, to answer our questions, to be there for us, because this is the biggest purchase that you're going to make in your lifetime, most likely. Like, it's scary and intimidating and overwhelming to put such a large amount of money into something and to invest into it. So I want someone that's actually going to guide me through it, make me feel confident, answer my questions. You know, I'm like Michael Scott, okay? Explain it to me like I'm 5. Like, I need someone to hold my hand through the process, because that is what is going to make me feel better. I don't know anything about real estate or the process. So for me, it's really making sure that you connect with the realtor that actually has time for you, and that is going to meet your needs and meet your niche, basically, that their niche matches up with your needs is my next tip when looking for a realtor. This is where I was now at a point where I need to start seeking out realtors myself, because these recommendations we were getting just weren't working out. It just didn't seem right. So I started following a lot of realtors on Instagram, and I recommend that you check out any realtor's social media. You can look at their reviews all day, but I'm always interested to see what they're posting on their social media to see, again, if they're going to fit my needs. So I started following a lot of realtors on Instagram, and I learned a lot real quick. I learned that there were, of course, marketing yourself and building your business is a smart thing to do, but I feel like there's like a line in the sand where it's like you're trying to grow your following to build your clientele and to build your business, which you should be doing. And then there's the other side of the line where it's, I don't care about building my business. I care about the amount of followers that I have and if I can go viral on this platform. And I care about people that don't even live in my area following me. You know what I mean? Like, there's a very fine line between trying to build up local clientele and just trying to become an Instagram influencer and build up your numbers from all over the country. And it's very apparent who is playing that game versus somebody that's just trying to be smart with their business and build their clientele, okay? It's very obvious, it's very apparent. And I was surprised the amount of realtors I came across that just seemed to care about being Instagram famous. I've had realtors that say like, oh, I care about first-time homeowners, like I care about my clients, and then it's like you try to contact them because they say that they're taking clients and then they don't get back to you, or like they'll start to answer your questions and then just say, I'm sorry, I have too much going on right now to help you, but you know, I still want to work with you. And it's like, no, like if you don't have time to answer like a simple question of how does the process work, how can I trust that you're going to have the time to show me houses when I see one that I'm interested in? So I was just very protective of like who we wanted to work with is what I'm saying. And you also want to pay attention to realtors' niches. So on Instagram, you can really tell if a realtor works more with sellers, works more for buyers, is more of a first homeowner buyer, or if their niche is investments in investors. As always, my neighbor's trucks are in the background, that hopefully, you know, they'll be gone soon. I'll be away from them soon. But anyways, another advantage to looking at a realtor's Instagram and their social media is that you get a sense of what their niche is. Of course, a real estate agent is educated in all aspects of real estate, but you're gonna have realtors that have niches where they have more expertise in different areas. So you wanna make sure that their niche matches with your needs. For example, you will find realtors that mostly seem to work with sellers. You'll find realtors that mostly seem to work with buyers, or realtors whose niche is first-time homeowners, or you'll see realtors that are investment realtors and they work with a lot of flippers and companies wanting to invest in properties. So it's not to say that a seller is uneducated or not as able to help a buyer. It's just that they're experts at selling and helping sellers. So it's like to me, it makes sense to go with someone that matches your niche more. So that is kind of my little tips for looking to find a realtor. I found our realtor, I'll shout him out at the end of the series, but I found our realtor through another Instagram account. There is a little bit of a food influencer here that's local to Arizona, and her husband's a real estate agent. I've been following her for like 2 years. I never really saw her talking about her husband much or like shouting him out a bunch, you know, like giving him that clout. Which is fine because it's like he's not on there to be like Instagram famous. You know what I mean? So she was talking about the market and was just bringing up how her husband's a realtor and how she's just really grateful that he's been able to help out a lot of first-time home buyers right now. It was just being really empathetic towards first-time buyers and how hard the market is for us right now, and was just saying if you're a first-time buyer and you're looking for someone that's going to actually take the time to talk to you, check out my husband. So I went and followed his page, and I was like, just so I have it for in a couple of months when we're ready to get this process started. And when I looked at his Instagram page, he had less than 200 followers, a handful of posts, But I actually kind of like that because it's like, it showed me that he wasn't consumed and caught up in social media. And when I went and researched him further, I learned that he had 16 years of experience. So that was a really great sign to me. And it seemed like he had a lot of really happy customers, and people have stuck with him throughout the years. When they were selling their home and looking for a new home, they used him as an agent and continued a relationship with him. So I was like, okay, I'm getting really good vibes with this guy. So let me just like watch and see. Let me just see how I feel in a couple months. If I feel like he's going to be the one, I think he is. And he was. I reached out to him on Instagram, I DM'd him, and within a couple of hours of my DM, he called me actually through the Instagram app. It was so funny. I'd never done like a phone call on Instagram before. But that was like such a great response of him actually taking the time to reach out to us. And we were on the phone with him for a good 30 minutes. He walked us through the process of buying a home, being a first-time home buyer, what the different levels of loans are. You will be a conventional loan, a first-time homeowner loan, a veteran's loan, like all the different levels and what the priorities are and how all that works and comes together, and what the best loan type we would be and like what we would qualify for. He answered all of our questions. He said that he had a lender he's been working with for years that he really recommends. So he gave us the lender's contact information and just said, if you feel comfortable using this lender, it's who I work with. Feel free to reach out, feel free to do your own research on him. Like, it was no, you have to do this, you have to use this person. So he was just very non-pushy, which we liked. And he also said, I know you guys don't know what you're pre-approved for right now, but do you have an estimate of what you think your budget is going to be? Like, what would that look like for you? Just so in the meantime, we can get started and get out there and get the wheels rolling. So it wasn't, you know, like the one realtor, well, how much money do you have so I know it's worth my time? It was, well, what do you think your budget is going to be? Because I'm going to create a custom MLS list with a bunch of houses. Pick some, whether you like them or don't like them. We'll go out and look. I'll point out the good things about the house, the bad things about the house. And once you get pre-approved, then we can really start our search. But I would love for you guys to get a feel of things right now with layouts and square footage. So if you're eager to get started, we can go ahead and do that if you're comfortable. So I was like, okay, this is amazing. And we talked to him on a Saturday, and remember thinking like, okay, like we'll call the lender Monday to get that started as well. No, the lender called us Sunday afternoon, early in the afternoon, and was like, the realtor just contacted me and I just wanted to reach out to you guys and introduce myself. I wanted your email address so I can send you the link. And he said, if you click the link and fill out the forms today, which shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes, I'll be able to tell you tomorrow late morning what you're approved for. And we were like, what? Because if you remember, the first lender that we worked with took over a week to get back to us, and his, you know, collecting information process was very much a process. So we're like, okay, this is great. He sent us a link. He didn't lie. It literally took us only 30 minutes to fill out the forms. And the next afternoon he called us and said, this is the amount you're pre-approved for. Have fun looking for houses. If you have questions, reach out for me. But we probably won't talk much until an offer gets accepted. So that was our process of, you know, almost a year later of finally finding a really good fit of a realtor, a really good lender. And those are just my first steps and what I experienced. So let me know if you have any other suggestions for first-time buyers down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely plan on making a separate video like this on what it's like to put an offer on a house and then the process of getting accepted until closing. So be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. I really hope you enjoyed this. This is definitely different for me. I know I rambled a lot. I always ramble a lot, but I just like sharing my experiences with others online. So anyway, I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.